Morning, April 4th, 2015, North Charleston, South Carolina. A quiet stretch near Remount Road. A 1991 Mercedes-Benz pulls into a lot. A patrol car follows. A routine traffic stop. Police say it's for a broken brake light. Minutes later, a man runs. A scuffle. A taser. Then 8 shots crack across the grass. The man collapses, face down. His name is Walter Scott. Walter Lamar Scott was 50, a father, a brother, and a son. He was a former Coast Guard enlistee who spent his life around Charleston County. He worked service and warehouse jobs, hustled to support 4 children, and leaned on church and family when life got messy. He had traffic violations and missed court dates, including a family court warrant over child support. Stressors that weighed on him. His friends remember his easy laugh and the way he tried to keep things light, even when money was tight. In the days leading up to April 4th, Walter was sorting out car issues and work prospects, typical life issues. The warrant for unpaid child support still hung over him. It was the kind of problem that could turn a minor stop into a major setback. On Saturday morning, he drove out in his Mercedes, a car he'd been proud to keep running. The officer was Michael T. Slager, 33 years old, North Charleston Police Department, another former Coast Guard enlistee. He joined NCPD in 2009. He'd handled routine calls, traffic stops, and arrests for years. Like many officers, he'd faced complaints, most notably a 2013 case alleging improper taser use that internal review had cleared. On April 4th, he was in uniform, driving solo. North Charleston is a working city of rail yards, warehouses, and military history, home to Boeing plants and along flat corridors like Remount Road. In 2015, the city's budget leaned heavily on public safety. Community trust in policing was frayed. Traffic enforcement was common on main arterials, small stops that sometimes turned into big stories. Just after 9:30 a.m., Slager stops Walter's car for a broken third brake light, runs the plates, and returns to the window. When Slager returns to his cruiser, Walter steps out of his vehicle, then runs. He leaves the car behind, fearful of what he likely believed would come next. Officers often called it flight, but to many people with a warrant, it's simply panic. In a grassy lot behind the business, Slager catches up. There's a brief struggle. His taser is deployed. Then Walter turns to run again. Slager draws his handgun, takes aim, and fires 8 times. Walter is hit from behind and falls. Slager radios, shots fired, subject down. Instead of taking the life-saving measures required of a sworn officer, Slager takes measures to protect himself and demonize the victim. He moves toward the victim, falsely claiming over police radio that the victim had taken his taser. He then places Walter in handcuffs while he lay face down on the ground, then returns to where the taser lay on the ground and retrieves it. Shortly after, another officer, Clarence Habersham, arrives on the scene. Slager again moves toward the victim and radios in that he has to secure his vehicle. He then drops the taser he retrieved earlier, leaving it beside the now fatally injured Walter Scott. Keep in mind, over the time that lapses, neither officer renders the required first aid to Walter Scott as he lay dying mere feet from them. After Slager drops the taser beside Mr. Scott, the second officer, Habersham, radios in the various gunshot wounds, the right side of the chest and buttocks, while appearing to pull up the victim's t-shirt. This would become important later as NCPD Police Chief Eddie Driggers claimed the officer lifted Walter's t-shirt to render some sort of first aid procedure. Later, analysis of the video supports the officer was identifying wounds rather than rendering aid. More than 2 minutes later, as the video is ending, Slager stands over the body of the slain man and appears to take his pulse. A bystander, Fiden Santana is walking to work. He sees the chase, pulls out his phone, and hits record. His video shows Walter running away when the shots are fired. It also shows Slager retrieving and placing an object, interpreted as the taser, near Walter's body. When the video goes public, it contradicts the initial account that Walter posed an immediate deadly threat. The footage becomes the case's foundation. Slager reports a struggle and fear for his life. He says Walter grabbed the taser. Prosecutors countered with the video and the distance of the shots, arguing the force was unreasonable and the scene was manipulated after the fact. Forensics tracked bullet paths and distance. Training records and policy manuals enter the frame. When force begins and when it must end. Within days, the state of South Carolina charges Slager with murder, and he is fired by NCPD. Walter's family pleads for calm and for justice, their grief measured in vigils and family statements. North Charleston City Council later approves a $6.5 million civil settlement with Walter Scott's family. In 2016, Slager's state murder trial ends in a hung jury. The following year, Slager pleads guilty in federal court to violating Walter Scott's civil rights under color of law. In December 2017, a federal judge sentences him to 20 years in prison, applying a cross-reference sentencing for second-degree murder and obstruction. Appeals fail. The sentence stands. In the wake of the shooting, South Carolina passes a statewide body camera law in 2015, accelerating adoption across departments. North Charleston undertakes policy and training reviews, use of force, foot pursuits, and evidence handling under a brighter public light. The bystander video becomes a case study in transparency and accountability. On Remount Road, a routine stop became a statewide reckoning and a national outcry for police accountability and justice reform. Walter Scott's death reminds us that the space between fear and force can be just a few steps, and that cameras, policies, and choices in those steps decide who makes it home and who doesn't.